Good morning, Turtle Club. It is Monday, just a little bit before our 8 a.m. start time, and we are here on CTG Studios' channel, Convertible Turtle Gaming. I'm Mag Synchro, the primary streamer here, and we are doing some Pokemon Emerald on Pocket Monster Mondays. And so, I. Good news, bad news. We're going to be bad news first, right? We always want to know the bad news so we can really tell where our expectation may be for all the things, right? So the bad news is while I was grinding away on my Pokemon on my Game Boy, the Game Boy Light died. The battery light died. I've been doing a little bit here and there, and sadly, I started like 11 something doing some passive stuff, and it's not much. You drop the people in the daycare. I'd save my game because I always pull them out, take a look at them, get them ready for the next stream, and I barely gotten a few hours in the game of just grinding and stuff throughout this last week. And lo and behold, while I was on my bike, and this is basically all I do when I'm AFK'd, and quote unquote, hey, shiny Charmander, patient and waiting, but finally it's time for Pokemon Day. Hey, that's all good, man. It's all good. No worries there. So I was basically using this method to passively level the Pokemon because it's something I can do while I'm working, right? I can pull out my Game Boy. I can hold the left stick. Wait for me to hear the sound of the bump, 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 bump. This noise here. And then stop, and then go this way. And the whole entire time I'm doing that, I'm basically doing all my work stuff. I can do my job until I need to type with my mouse hand, looking at all the things that I gotta do and check. And then when I need to type, I set the Game Boy down from my hand and do all I gotta do for typing. Unfortunately, things got busy last night, so I got to do this off and on a little bit, but I never hit start and save. I always say save early, save often. This is one of the reasons why. I know that Absol was in the 50s today. And I know Shroomish was ready for us to toss out a rare candy because I was actually had Manectric in there today. So, yeah. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate that the battery died. But we have a passive active kind of way to level stuff. Everything started when you try to do a thing to get a shiny from a trade, and you got out with the shiny Mothim. Okay. So all of the Arceus stuff and all of the Gen 4 stuff is really my weak spot with a lot of Pokemon. And with Sword Shield, I stopped playing after the first expansion and didn't play any of the second expansion. So there's quite a bit that I've missed out on in the current gen stuff. Though I did see the trailer drop. It looks really good. And there's a very strong chance that Digrat and I, my wife, will be picking it up. Because every time they do a Pokemon release, it's generally in November, and it's generally the week of her birthday. And so, yeah. That's always fun. When it's a main Pokemon release, she usually gets it for her birthday. But we'll see. I gotta admit, I really enjoy Pokemon. Pokemon's a real chill, laid-back kind of game to play. You don't have to worry about a whole lot when you do it. Unless you're doing comp stuff, right, and fighting people online and whatnot. I was really hoping that one quick attack was going to put this guy down. It's what you get for doing nursery training instead of like real battle training. You lose on a lot of effort values. But yeah, it's real chilled, laid back, and whatnot. But the one thing that mostly happens on Pokemon streams that I notice with a lot of people that watch our streams is, generally speaking, I think I could Swords Dance and then hit this guy once and take him out maybe. Oh wow. Shiny Gyarados. Okay. So I don't really find Shiny Gyarados all that like. So I'm curious, right? So Shiny Gyarados, really cool looking Pokemon. I mean, it's a red Gyarados. Who wouldn't want one of those, right? But they gave a lot of them out during Sword Shield. Like, they were one of the big events that you could get, like Shiny Gyarados and Shiny Magikarp, just like hand over fist. And not only that, but Heart Gold, Soul Silver, you can catch a Shiny Gyarados just because. And that can be traded, Heart Gold, Soul Silver to Black White. From Black White to, I think you can go directly to home, because it goes to Pokemon Transporter to box and box to home. So I'll have to check that out. But if you really like Gyarados, by all means. But I don't know, from a rarity standpoint, Darkrai, I think I would have hung up to it. But I don't know where Darkrai shiny comes from. If it's like an event Pokemon type thing, then maybe not as much. Maybe not as much. That's a tough call. And I gotta say, shiny Charmander, possibly welcome back, because your name was different last week if you're the same individual. Because I believe that most assuredly you was not a shiny Charmander last time. Still kind of bummed that we lost like at least like 6 or 7 Absol levels. And I was like, yeah, we'll just go over it a little bit. On the plus side, Shroomish is just 2 levels. Hey, Shadow. Welcome to Lurktown, sir. But yeah, I'm actually super stoked about a game I've been playing a lot. I've mentioned it quite a lot on the channel here lately, called Elder Scrolls Online. Their newest content actually releases today, and the patch, and I wish I was like that. Mew has got incredible stats. Mew is X special attack, traded by Pokemon. Yeah, the shiny Mews are pretty good. I gotta admit. So when we got Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, Digrat and I got the Pokeball, which has the Mew in it. And when Digrat was playing Sword Shield, she immediately traded her Mew in as fast as she could, and managed to just wreck some stuff with Mew. She TM'd the snot out of it. It has like every single element that you really would want on a special base 2 Pokemon. But yeah, so cool. Getting a Mew is really good. But yeah, so Elder Scrolls Online's newest content, High Isle, came out. It's all about the Bretons, and they're like the Half Elven race. And the patch and the servers and everything just came up like 15 minutes ago. So when I wake up today, I'll get the chance to kind of like play around with that. Old shiny Gyarados is traded by Legends Arceus. This means that it could be a shiny Alpha Gyarados. Okay. So, question though, right? From an online competitive standpoint, like, does an Alpha Gyarados do anything for you? Like, if you're playing, because my understanding is like the competitive side is still all primarily funneled through Sword Shield. So, good on it being an alpha for Arceus, but I don't believe that really equates to anything in Sword Shield, does it? Like, I honestly don't know. I mean, maybe it has a better IV spread. Like, just because. Like, do they get 7s for their IVs, or is it still like 6s? Because that would be kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, really overpowered, but cool. Come on, Absol, level faster. Cody needs a pony. So we definitely have so Manedric, Marshtomp, Absol, Breloom. Oh, I want and I don't want to bring Milotic inside because it seems like we're just when you got Marshtomp, but I really think that we need somebody that's really good with Ice Beam from Gen 3. And Milotic seems to be our tanky Pokemon that can do that for us. Because everything we're getting can only be acquired pre-Elite Four, and only via trade evolutions, meaning we have it here and then we trade it and bring it back, or via anything that we can catch just out in the wild or in-game trade for. Trying to basically reproduce that mag synchro growing up in the middle of rural Oklahoma and not having access to maybe like 2 people in the whole world to trade with. Like, legitimately, Turtle Club, when I became married and my wife started playing Pokemon, the number of people that I was able to play with Pokemon went from like 2 to 3. And the number of trades I was able to do went from like a couple every so often, with a very stingy younger brother and a very shrewd roommate. It became like a whole lot. Digrat's amazing. One of the things that she likes to do is complete everything. And so when you're married to somebody who wants to complete the Pokédex by every means necessary, you wind up getting a lot of cool ways to do that. What you wind up doing really at that time is having a copy of Alpha, having a copy of Sapphire, copy of Ruby, a copy of Leaf Green, Fire Red, and a copy of Emerald. So, in the global room, so here's a concern, right? Because back in like Gen 4, Gen 5 days, especially when they introduced the real Wi-Fi trades, there was a lot of hacked Pokemon flowing around because you could just hex edit with things that could access Wi-Fi. So I'm curious how many of those have made it all the way to Gen 9, Gen 8? Because that was the thing that I discovered the most, which was crazy, was I was getting just hand over fist through Wonder Trade back in, gosh, what was it? X, I think? I would just kind of wake up and do a Wonder Trade and get something that was just insane. And there were actually like Reddit groups and stuff that were just completely devoted to flooding Wonder Trade at certain times with stuff like that. That's kind of why I stopped trading with like random people for a long time, because I was trying to go to like competitive stuff, and I know that if you did like high level comp and Nintendo suspected it was a hacked Pokemon, you basically just get DQ'd. back then people didn't have shinies at all, and it's rare to find one that has one. Like, I don't know. I mean, like the number of hacked, um, like Gen 3, there was a huge number of hacked, what is it, Jirachis. Like, that was Gen 3. But that's also because of the Jirachi Wish Disc that came out. Someone was able to reverse engineer that and figure out how to alter the hex code on the Jirachi itself to make different trainer IDs. Which, since there was only one legitimate way to get Jirachi in the United States, makes it real easy to tell if it's a hacked Jirachi because it has the wrong trainer ID and it happens to have the wrong moveset and a lot of other stuff. But I'd come across those occasionally. But, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff that comes out of it, though. I mean, the fact that there's so many more shinies out there that you can just see is great. Don't get me wrong, I like seeing shiny Pokemon because they're cool. Well, most of them. Some of them, I don't know. Like, there's a couple of, like, Eevee evolutions especially. Like, when I look at them, I'm like, is that a shiny? Alright. Trying to think. I mean, in this, I think I really want Perish Song over Future Sight. Because worst case scenario, we get to the final champion, in the final Pokemon, we can just Perish Song, and then wall stall out. It's a scummy tactic, but I've been known to use scummy tactics with Pokemon. Oh my gosh, that makes me think of the Pokemon Stadium 2. There was a fight that you had a Dugong that knew Perish Song. And that was it was Whirlpool Perish Song, and it was just rough. Because as soon as it used Perish Song, you knew you had to swap out the next turn. You had no choice. You had to swap out next turn. Because the Whirlpool is coming next. So, and the only thing that you could really do to get out of Whirlpool was use Rapid Spin. And so your Pokemon that had Rapid Spin was Ponyta Rapidash, right? And so you could have Rapid Spin, but basically it went like this. Perish Song from the Dugong, you spent your first turn using Stomp. Second turn, and you would hope that Stomp would cause a flinch. Grinding for the Elite Four and Champion. Yes! We are grinding to level 50 for the Elite Four and Champion. We're getting so close on Absol. After that, we're going to switch over. We are getting Breloom to 54, so because he's going to be our fighting type. Because dual typing is kind of important, in my opinion, for a fighting type in this game. Because fighting is really good against one particular Elite Four member. Unfortunately, though, it's... Maybe next we could get Swampert next. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. It's either Swampert or Manectric, one of the two. There's some pretty decent places to go get Manectric leveled up next. Swampert I could take to New Mawile and basically have him run rampant in there and do okay. Swampert realistically doesn't even have to be all that high. He's got such great stats and such a great move pool that I don't necessarily even have to have him to level 50. Like, if I had him at 48, Swampert could just completely wreck some of the Elite Four guys. Of course, getting Milotic next might not be bad either. I don't even know why I'm doing that. I can just fly. Swamper could, yeah, competitive swamp. Yes, yes. Can survive earthquake. He's got them tanky boy stats, and then ice beam afterwards. But what I'm kind of going for is just a little bit more direct, because even though Swamper could go for an ice beam afterwards, his special stat, which is what ice beam hits off of, isn't all that good. Like, have to pull that up in a second. We're just going to run away here, because running away is good. Accidentally got your Swampert to level 70. Ah. See, I think you don't really mean accidentally got your Swampert to level 70. That's in your Diamond Pearl playthrough, right? Where the new and improved Cynthia is like really mean. Her Garchomp is like over leveled and buff. Like he lives seriously. Boom, boom, boom. EXP Shear is so good in these games. EXP Shear is not bad. I really wish that this game had EXP All instead of EXP Share, because EXP All is just such a better tool for the way I like to play. Like in some of my games, I don't think I would have had as several Pokemon as high level as they were if it wasn't for EXP Share. Or EXPL, rather. Of course, now in, like, Sword Shield experience, what's that? I mean, you just go out and candy farm for, like, 3 or 4 hours and you have a whole level 100 team. It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of rare candy you get in that game. Like, I was thinking, you know what would be a really good way to do this was just to find a way to, like, get rare candy in this game. And just go farm some rare candy up, right? Well, the only way you can really farm rare candy in Gen 3 is to have a team of Rattata. And in Emerald, they changed it. It used to be, like, you had a % chance to always get, like, rare candy, possibly, or something like that. But it's completely level based at this point. You have to have like a little 50-something Rattata before you even start getting EXP candy. And it's like, man, you know, if I had the time to level a team of Rattata to 50, this wouldn't be a problem. Ain't got time for that though. Just let me go beat the Dynamax Pinata, and I'd be super okay with that. Hey, what is that? A Dynamax Ditto? Cool! You know what I'm going to put out there? I'm going to put out one of the worst Pokemon for Ditto to fight against. Bum, 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 bum. You know who would have been a good Pokemon to have in this, though? Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl would have been amazing in Gen 3. Just to have him in Ruby Sapphire Emerald era. That would have been not from Leaf Green or Fire Red, mind you, just from like these 3 games. Like, I mean, you have these prehistoric Pokemon, right? From Groudon and Kyogre and Rayquaza. Why not have all of the fossil Pokemon up to date in this game? Seems like a really, really missed opportunity, in my opinion. Yeah, that is, it is strange. They seem to be a little bit more heavier on Maxie's storyline than Archie's, which is odd. And then there's the whole entire Safari Zone thing in this game, which is like, really? And then the Battle Tower. We can't forget the Battle Tower. We're completely forgetting the Battle Tower in this playthrough, people. But seriously, the Battle Tower is a thing that really exists. And it's not a bad challenge for what it was back in the day. But same thing with like the contests. Like, I get what they were trying to do, sorta. Like, this came out the same time that they were getting a lot of pressure about gambling and a lot of pressure about the fact that it's animals fighting other animals. Aggron's not bad. So, Aeron the Aggron, right? Like, I wanted it to be Tyranitar. That's the best way I can talk about Aggron, is when I see Aggron, I want it to be Tyranitar. I want it to be something like Mawile, right? I want it to be that, like, really toothy, meaty, beefy, heavy-hitting kind of thing. And it almost gets there. It almost gets there. And its typing's not horrible. But it just seems like it's always lacking just something. Like, when I'm making a team, it just doesn't quite make the cut. And it's really funny that you mentioned that particular Pokemon, because when I was building a Sword Shield team a while back, and I had access to Aggron, I still went with Colossal. And it felt bad to go with something that had a 4 times weakness to water over Aggron. But Colossal just has a better move pool than Aggron, in my opinion, for Gen 8. And it's just like, you love Mawile. Mawile's amazing. Mawile's like that really cool, like, emo, loner, like, quick draw swordsman, samurai kind of Pokemon. With that whole kind of thing going on, you know? Mawile is definitely one of those cute Pokemon for what it does. And it's got a terrifying moveset. You know, it reminds me... Mawile reminded me a little bit of Grapharig when it first came out. And Grapharig, I have never been as terrified about a Pokemon showing up in possible fights than I was the first time that I actually fought a Grapharig. And it just all went downhill. Like, I'm like, Psychic Normal? What? What is up with this? Oh, Shiny Charmander. About 20-25 streams ago, we caught a Phoebus and we leveled it up. We have a level 36 Milotic already. And it's actually got pretty good stats for what we're doing on this. It's tanky. It's actually, you know, when we get through this loop here, I'll go pull out the Milotic so you can take a look at it. Gen 3 natural caught Phoebus leveled into Milotic. Yeah, we got one. It took me, I want to say it was like 64 cells of fishing to finally catch one. And we systematically did it space by space by space by space. One of the... We are playing on a dry battery, so one of the plus sides of a dry battery are there are very few things that we could do on this game that would actually shuffle the Phoebus squares. And we caught several Phoebuses until we found the best possible one. Actually, I'm just going to go out and go grab it real quick and show you all the stuff we got from it. Because we went, yeah, this is great. We're going to do that. And it's been a long time since we kind of like went off and showed the box that we have to see, so people could see what we have also. So it's not a bad idea to go do that because it's been a hot minute, as they say. Oh, and Turtle Club, speaking of hot minutes, it's been in the 90s here in Georgia the last couple of days. And though it's not what I wanted to do in my actual streaming office room, I finally did black out the windows. We got some foam board, and on the large garage door window that we have here, we managed to block all that out. So it's going to help it. Yep, absolutely. We have been able to grow 0 batteries, or 0 berries. We have been able to refight very few trainers, because some of them are playtime based versus time of day cycle based. Let's go to move Pokemon. So here's box number 1. We caught a Tropius earlier. Here's our Milotic. I'll go and pull the summary up for you. So Marvel's scale for its ability, which is amazing. Look at those wonderful stats right there. That special defense is just tanky. And it's not bad on health either. And Waterfall, Ice Beam, Surf, and Twister is what it's got right now. Here's our Zam that we were carting around forever. Calm Mind, Psychic, Recover, Flash. Pretty standard moveset. Yeah, we, oh, and here's our other Phoebuses. There's a Brave Phoebus, and a Timid, and a Jolly, and a Rash, and a Docile. And our, so we have a pretty decent team, considering. I forget, did I actually heal already? I think I did, but I'm going to do it just to be sure. But yeah, in this particular playthrough with what we're doing, the time clock isn't really all that important. It does make things a little difficult, like our nature for Phoebus. We had to kind of work on getting one that was better for the berry count for blue, so we could get the most out of it, since we only had so many shots at it. Since it's just me playing and no one else, I had to depend upon the CPUs to make the Pokken, or the Pokeblocks rather. So there were a few uphill things involving that Milotic, but we have it and we are going to hold on to it. I think the worst thing that we don't really get full access to due to the clock is the tides. The tides not coming in and out on the various things that are tidal affected. That's pretty rough. That's probably the worst thing. But yeah, as far as changing the battery in the cartridge, as this is an authentic cartridge and it still has the bad battery and stuff in it, I would much rather keep that mainly for resale value if there ever comes a time that I need to resell the card. When they're 35 like that, I feel like we need to fight them just for the better experience gain. Hey, Sally, good morning. So we had a good news, bad news moment. The good news is I found my Game Boy this week, and I've been leveling on my Pokemon. So that's great news. And I saved the last time I played before I started playing last night, which is also good news. But while I was basically passively leveling by walking around and egg stuff, my battery on my Game Boy died, and so I lost like a lot of hours of gameplay. We're recovering it though. 166 experience points at a time, everybody. That's the other thing that kind of hurts Shiny Charmander, is Mirage Island. Not having the battery, that hurts for that reason. Like, we better hope that all the secret things that make Mirage Island either appear or disappear for me works. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to. The max EXP you can get with all the boosts is 12k EXP. That is a considerable amount of experience points. Does that include the doubles method? Like with the EXP share glitch? Because I'm kind of curious about that number. Because if that doesn't include the doubles method with the EXP share glitch, you can get that up to like, what is it, 16k? Because the way it works is you knock out your Pokemon that has the XP share, and it doesn't get the experience because it wasn't in the battle, technically. And then you get the overage. But it's not an easy thing to pull off when you're talking about Pokemon at that level. Boom, boom, boom. Man, this morning is blowing by really quick. Turtle Club, just to thank you all for coming in still. It's Monday. Now, I do want to bring a couple points of order. This week, Digrat's parents will be here visiting us. Next week, Digrat will be visiting her parents. And the week after, Digrat and I celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. She's been putting up with me for 20 years. 20 years of puns, 20 years of food that she doesn't necessarily like me eating, and beverages that she doesn't like the smell of, like root beer. But it's a long time, and she's put up with it, and we're probably not going to have any streams that week. This is not anything new to this channel. This week, though, with my in-laws coming in, there is a chance Especially because this wall right here in my office is shared with the room that my father-in-law sleeps in, and so out of respect for him, if he's still asleep, I will probably not be streaming so I don't wake him up. 20 years, I know, Sally. It is crazy to think about that I asked her to marry me in April of 2002. And she said yes. In June of 2002, we got married. Hey, level 53 Shroomish. We're going to say no thank you. And then we're going to go... And I really... Because Shroomish is a grass type, takes forever to level up. Yes, we will get rid of the move for Spore. So, we're about to get rid of 2 moves. So the way we want to do this is, and I'm going to go with my thought process reasoning here, guys, so you can follow along with me. We are going to wind up with Leech Seed, Spore, Giga Drain, and our uppercut that we're about to get. So you can only have one status effect. It is Paralyze, Sleep, or Poison. And so we don't need all 3 of these because we're going to be relying on Spore. So we're going to get rid of Stun Spore. Boom. And now we're going to let our poor little Shroomish finally evolve. He's going to be all grown up. It's been a very long time, Shroomish. So here's Breloom. Breloom's a lean, mean, grass-punching machine. He is... Oh, no B on that. We wanted it right there. Delete a move to make room for Dynamic Punch. Yes. And here we go. Poison Powder. Shiny Charmander. We do not have swears on the channel, man. Alright. Dynamic Punch. Alright. Family-friendly content, so we try to keep cursing to a very small minimum. No worries, man. Alright, and so now we can take a real quick look at our Breloom here. We're going to take the item off. We're already over the level 50 that we wanted to be. And so our summary here, so you guys can take a look at this. So we have Dynamic Punch. It's a very inaccurate move, but it will cause confusion, and it hits really hard. So the goal here is we're going to use Spore, because Breloom, as we can see in a second here, Breloom's got some pretty good speed. It's not the best speed, right? I mean, if we take a look at something like Manectric, look at that 112. Manectric's fast. And Manectric still's got like 10 levels to go before we're good. So Manectric's speed's going to be like more like 120. Basically Outrage, but it's a fighting move. I don't think Breloom gets anything, or Shroomish doesn't get anything at any other levels. Emerald Attack Dex. Go ahead and pull that up on Cerebi real quick. Gen 3. Actually, we wanted to get the Pokedex. We're going to go Fighting type because there's very few less fighting types. Breloom, Shroomish. So Shroomish's last level that he levels up with is Spore. And that's at level 54. And his experience skill is actually more as Shroomish than Breloom. The last move that Breloom learns is Dynamic Punch as well. So the optimal thing is level up at 54. You feeling kind of sad that all that Shroomish evolved? Why is that? Like, Shroomish has outlived his usefulness. at this point due to a stat block point. Like, oh wow, 3 years, 11 months, and 23 days. Congrats, Sally. That is wow. I know we have like, I think Shadow has been a member for like 12 years or for 4 years. Because I know it tells me how long people have been a member as well. But yeah, so Shroomish and Breloom, we basically got them to level up at the 54 range. And so Shroomish is actually now going to level up faster even, which is great for us. So our next Pokemon that we're going to be passively leveling up is going to be Swampert. We're going to give him that EXP share. But yeah, so at 54 is just in Gen 3 on Emerald, that's the best time to evolve Shroomish to Breloom. And so now we can Spore things, and we can try to Mach Punch what we need to Mach Punch. Ha! Single X. Shroomish is great, but having Giga Drain and the Punch and the Leech Seed and Spore gives us the ability to hit some stuff. Now, ideally, we would want something that's going to actually up the accuracy. I think there's an item in this game. Mine says 4 years, 8 months, 15 days. Yeah, I know Shadow was the longest. Shadow, props to you, man. You were the first member we had, and I really appreciate that. Like, legitimately. Our newest member is Colin, who has not shown up yet today, but it's summer. And I believe Colin may be one of our younger members, and so doing some summary things for younger people, I'm certain. The second longest member we had was a gentleman named Cursed Marked Gamer, and supported us for a very long time. Unfortunately, their membership status and their viewership on us, I think, has passed. And that's partially on mine as well. This account's approximately 3 years old. Oh, that's cool. My YouTube account, my personal YouTube account, is from 99, I think. I got it when I worked for CompuServe. I remember that much. And that was like 99, 2000. Somewhere around that range. No, that was that was my actual Google account that I had from there. No, that was back. What my... And then I actually alt-tabbed and lost everything for a second. We brought Shadow out of the shadows. Back to the lurks. All the lurks. Ah, I fell in the hole. You know, I have not clicked on Sally's profile pic to see what it looks like. I did notice it changed. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool, Sally. What was my best trade? Wow. So, keep in mind, I grew up when there wasn't internet on a Game Boy. For a very, 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 very long time. So I would have to say, if you want straight up to know what my best trade was, it was... I had to say, without a doubt, it was Rattata for Rayquaza. through a Wonder Trade, and it was an extreme speed Rayquaza. Um, but that's kind of one of those crazy trades, right? Back when they had just the market flooded. I think the best one-for-one trade that I ever did was a Machamp for a Gengar. Back in Gen 1, I traded the Machoke for somebody's Haunter. And Gengar was such just an amazing Pokemon in that actual era. That was great. Shiny Muffin for Shiny Darkrai. That was a pretty good trade. I won't doubt that at all. God, I gotta think about that a bit because there's some other really good trades that I did. Hmm. So, I also did a trade that was like Cyndaquil for a Chikorita, but that was like hatched from eggs. So that was, that was a good trade, but it was like an amazing trade, right? Let's see here. What else? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what I gave for it, but I traded for a Blissey once. And those weren't really easy to get back then. Oh, and then there was this crazy egg chain that I traded for. It was Abra that had all the elemental punches on it. And I want to say I traded a Golbat for that. But that was a pretty beefy Abra. Shiny Darkrai's pretty cool. Darkrai's not a bad Pokemon. I've got one on one of my games because for the anniversary of Pokemon, GameStop was doing a huge promo where you could get all these cards with codes to get special edition Pokemon. And Digrat and I got a whole truckload of them. The local GameStop where her family lives, real small rural Kentucky. And so there was 2 of them, and so we could go in, and they were game locked, right? You use the code, you get to use 1 code per copy of the game. Well, we had X, Y, Ruby, and Sapphire. And so we were able to get a code for her, code for me, for both of them. And so we have like, floating around in one of these game carts, we have like 4 Mews, and like 4 of the little... I don't mean to switch. We've got quite a few legendaries. Or mythics. I forget the terminology. It used to just be legendary, right? And it was like legendary meant one of a kind. And then they had mythics, which meant good luck getting this because if you don't live nearby Nintendo's Pokemon Center in New York, you're never getting it. And that was Mew from Generation 1. And Celebi. Well, that's one of the ones I got from the GameStop promotion with Celebi. Really excited to have gotten Celebi. And then really disappointed. Shaman. That was another one we got. The little hedgehog thing. I don't know what Shamans are good for, as far as Pokemon go, but they look cool. Little leafy grass hedgehog thing. It's just really cool looking. Alright, so we are no longer fighting. We are just jetting out. So we can reset. So Charmander, you're fairly knowledgeable on a lot of the Pokemon games and whatnot. So I'm on the fence, right? We have Swampert, and so that covers our Shiny Mew? Isn't Shiny Mew like lime green? Like matches the Mewtwo coloring? So, so in my opinion, certain iconic Pokemon, right? You shouldn't really mess with the coloring. And I would say if the shiny Mew had like a better shade of purple than what it has, and we got 6 minutes left. We got enough time to go in for one more round, I think, or a couple of minutes at least. So if you're gonna mess with the coloring, I think it still needs to kind of like embody the Pokemon. And Shiny Mew not being like a form of purple, I equate that with Psychic type because of the card game, and because in Gen 1, when the Game Boy Color came out, a lot of your Psychic Pokemon were purple. Your Ghost Pokemon also were purple. A lot of your Poison Pokemon were purple. And so, you know, that was kind of like the coloration for a Pokemon like that. Like even here, right? If you look, your Dark type in Generation 3, they have very muted colors. You're looking at black and gray and white and those neutral kind of tones like that. So when you do a shiny for something that is not exactly the poster child for Pokemon, right? But the poster child for the craziness that was Pokemon Rumors. The number of times I tried to use strength on that truck during Generation 1 is numerous. I can't even begin to tell you. And then when someone finally cracked the secret on how to get Mewtwo's to spawn up and down the coast of Cinnabar Isle, I was trying my best to figure out how do I make Mew show up. I mean, Mew is such an amazing Pokemon in Generation 1. Mew, for those that aren't familiar, is Pokemon number 151. And with the way the code is written for Pokemon, there is no way outside of the Pokemon being directly inserted into your game for Generation 1 to have a Mew actually show up. So you actually have to either take a Game Shark, and the way the Game Shark method worked in Generation 1 was really brute force. It took any Pokemon in your team, and it actually hacked that Pokemon's specific code, and it changed one bit to a different bit. And that's the way you went from 150 to 151, or 146 to 151. It changed one basic number in your save file, and that's how you got it. And it's really brute force. I mean, if you think about what all that involves, there's a lot of things that, depending upon how they coded the game, that could go wrong. The way Nintendo did it was a lot similar. A little bit safer because they had a bit of a better knowledge of how the actual save was working, right? But yeah. So for Mew, something that iconic, something that epic, I personally think that if you got that shiny Pokemon that you're going for, right? Maybe instead of having like this really light and bright kind of lavender color, and that makes him very playful, very pastel-like, maybe you get like a really dark, almost puce color for the purple, and go with that. But don't make him lime green. He's not a grass type. He's like the genesis of all other Pokemon. He's where the DNA all comes from. Basically. Depending upon what all you believe and what all Pokemon material you've either seen or heard or read. And so, you know, that's kind of important, in my opinion. You don't go mucking around with that. But if you have a shiny Mew, that's cool. I mean, that's a rare thing to have. But I think, like, I did it again. You can tell I'm getting a little bit on the sleepy side because my hands are doing things that, like, my brain isn't wanting my hands to do. But yeah, I think shiny Mew's cool. It's one of those that I think the color could have been done a bit differently and been a little bit better. We are getting really close to the end of the stream, so we are going to be retreating back to the Pokemon Center. We're going to probably go at the pace of Pokemon in this game, maybe 2 minutes over time. That's fine. Just a reminder, Turtle Club, we will inform everybody in the Discord how it looks on Wednesday morning if we're going to get a Zelda stream in. And we'll also be informing the Discord on Friday morning how that looks as well. I fully expect that we probably will have those streams, but out of respect for our actual company who will be here, there's a strong chance, not a guaranteed chance, but a strong chance that they'll be sleeping in. My in-laws are elderly. They got a good 30 years on me. And as such, they may be sleeping and I don't want to wake up. Oh, that would have been awesome, Shadow. Like, if that was the way it worked, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that would have been cool. Like Rainbow Mew. Fly, Altaria, fly. I like the fact also that Mews have, like, really mellow stats. Like, they're not amazing stats, but they're not horrible stats. They're kind of just like... Like, if you were to tell me this is a Pokemon stats, Mew is basically like the quintessential Pokemon. It's got some regular stats. And it's able to know basically any move you throw at it. Which makes it super keen. Super keen. Well, Turtle Club, oh my gosh. We got some stuff done here. We got a Breloom that has Mach Punch and Spore. What more could you ask for, really, in the Pokemon? Something that puts it to sleep and then gets a couple turns to try to hit it. We have an Absol that's absolutely leveling up. We're just a couple levels away from 50. I'm going to be doing some passive grinding this week. Even though if they're sleeping next door, I can absolutely play on my Game Boy and do some stuff. I'm going to have myself a good night, though. Shiny Charmander, Shadow, Sally, Lurk Squad Supreme. You guys all know who you are. I've got some guesses, but I'm going to let you stay lurking. Thank you for coming in and watching. Hopefully you have a good week. It's Monday. New week started. Get through it, guys. We can all do it. Have yourself a good breakfast, a good lunch, a good dinner. Whatever you're about to do, Turtle Club. Stay safe. Wash your hands. And have a good one. Take care.